Welcome students. In this topic, we will learn about square butt joint on 2 mm thick brass sheet in flat position by OAW process.
At the end of this topic, we will learn to set proper flame, select filler rod, gas nozzle, gas, pressures and flux. Weld brass butt joint properly. Remove flux residues from the weldment by chemical cleaning. Inspect for weld defects. Let us see the tools required for the welding process of square butt joint on 2 mm thick brass sheet in flat position by OAW process. Steel rule, scriber, nozzle, ball peen hammer, flat file, bench vise, tri-square, tongs, chipping hammer, steel wire brush, filler rod, oxygen and acetylene cylinder and welding torch, personal protective equipment, a respirator. Let us see the important pre-welding preparation steps of square butt joint on 2 mm thick brass sheet in flat position by OAW process. Cut the pieces into 150 mm length by 50 mm width. Deburr the edges of the sheet. Select brass flux, that is borax type. Apply the flux by dipping the hot end of the filler rod in the powdered flux from time to time. Adjust the pressure of oxygen between 0.5 and 1.41 kg per square centimeter and acetylene at 0.8 to 0.15 kg per square centimeter. Set the sheets with 1.5 mm root gap. As the thermal expansion is more, the root gap can be set such that it increases at about 1 mm per 100 mm length of the joint for butt welds. Fix nozzle number 5 on the blowpipe. Set oxidizing flame. Select a silicon bronze rod of 1.5 mm and apply the pasty flux on the filler rod. Tack weld at both ends of the joint and at the center. Now let us see about the welding process of square butt joint on 2 mm thick brass sheet in flat position by OAW process. Set a neutral flame and play over the sample brass piece. Commence welding at right side end and continue until the joint is completed. The filler rod is fed into the pool as the surface sinks, indicating that penetration is being achieved. The inner cone of the flame is held fairly close to the surface for the weld. Keep the angle of the blowpipe at 60 degrees to 70 degrees and filler rod at 30 degrees to 40 degrees. Reduce the blowpipe angle or withdraw entirely to reduce heat input at the crater. A respirator is to be used to avoid inhaling of toxic zinc fumes coming out of the brass sheet. Now, we will look at the important points to follow for square butt joint on 2 mm thick brass sheets in flat position by OAW process. No traces of flux should remain on the weld. It will cause corrosion after completion of the weld. Distortion. lack of root fusion, crack, lack of root penetration, recap.
In this topic, we have learned to set proper flame, select filler rod, select gas nozzle, set gas pressures, weld brass butt joint properly, remove flux residues from the weldment by chemical cleaning, inspect for weld defects.